Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about point slope form. To start right off, we're going to talk about the procedure, how to use it. We are going to using the point slope form of the equation of the line. To write the equation of a line giving its slope and any point, that's why it's called point slope form on the line. Use the point slope form of an equation of a line. And that is going to be y minus y sub 1 equals m times parenthesis x minus x sub 1. If giving second point x2, y2, and not the slope, we first have to calculate the slope using the slope formula. Then we're going to use the point slope form. Okay, so there's two things. We're going to figure out when to use the slope. We're going to figure out how to write the point slope form. So before I do anything else, one thing I want you guys to know is when we talk about y1, that's going to be stay as a letter. As a letter. Okay, and y1 is a number. M is going to be a number. And x is a letter. And x sub 1 is also a number. Okay, so when I talk about it as a letter, that means that will stay as an x, and the y will stay as a y. That's the first thing. Second thing is when we talk about y2 and y1, y2 is x2 and y2 is a point, x1 and y1 is a point. Okay, so we will go down and look at the problem. So first of all, the first thing it says, write the equation of the line in point slope form with giving slope passing through the given point. So really, this already gave you the slope and they gave you a point. This is a point. This is a slope. So now we can use point slope form. Write your equation a few times so you actually will understand. You memorize it. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, x sub 1. So m is -2, and this is x, and that's y. So I'm going to do y minus y1. Well, I'm sorry, this is y1, and that's x1. All right, y minus y1, y1 is 5, equals m is -2, and that's going to be x minus x1, 4. Second example, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form with the given slope passing through the given point. So now it's changing up a little bit. Slope-intercept form. And from before, you should know slope-intercept form is going to be y equals mx plus b. Now, I know some of you guys might learn to just plug in the x and plug in the y and plug in the m and solve for b. I would like to try some other different ways. So we are going to use point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus y1 is going to be y minus, this is x1, that's y1. So y minus negative 6, okay? Because the first negative sign is from the equation, second negative is from the negative 6, equals 4 over 3 times x minus 3. Okay, it's a minus sign. So now I would like to change it so it's y plus 6 equals 4 over 3 times x minus 3. Now, to change that around, the only thing you have to do is you just have to distribute. And then when you distribute, don't forget, it's parentheses, there's 2 of them. So y plus 6, we are moving this around to put it in slope-intercept form. 4 over 3 minus, oh, look, 3 and 3 cancel out. So that's just going to be either you can write down negative 12. That's negative 12. Or you can just cancel out the 3 so you will know that's a minus 4. And then to move around, oh, sorry, lost the x. Then move around minus 6 on both sides. Okay. Minus 6 both sides. So you will have y equals 4 over 3x minus 10. And that is your slope-intercept form. So this one is going to be your slope intercept. And the other one right here, that's your point. Slope form. Example 3. Write the equation of the line passing through the given point. Write the equation in point slope form only. So now, if you guys notice, we don't have a slope, but we have 2 points. And remember before, if you have 2 points, you can label them is x1, y1, x2, y2. And if you do that, you will use the formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And you can also remember this as y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. If you use, you have to make sure the y goes on top. And if you're going to use the y2 first, you got to use the x2 also first. Okay, that's the only important thing. Y has to go on top, and the order have to follow accordingly. So now you can just do the formula and say negative 7 slope or you can write it out as a slope. I usually write it as m, and that's equal to negative 7 minus a negative 5. I like to write down the double negative so you understand the first negative sign is from the equation, second negative sign is from the negative 5, over negative 3 minus a negative 8. And because you have double negative, you're going to have negative, negative become positive, and this negative and negative become positive. So you will actually have negative 2 over positive 6. So your slope, when you reduce it, you have to reduce it. Use your calculator, it will help you reduce. That's negative 1/3. Then use that formula. How about if I use the other one? Well, since I did y2 minus y1, I'm going to show you the other way around is also work. So m, I'm going to use the number in the back. So negative 5 minus a negative 7 over negative 8 minus a negative 3. And that's going to be negative negative become positive, and that's going to be 2 over negative negative become positive, negative 6. Look, the only difference is the sign. Instead on top, is on the bottom now. The answer should be exactly the same. So formula-wise, doesn't make any difference. So your slope for this problem is negative 3. Now, they wanted you to write an equation in point slope form. Oh, Mrs. Wiesman, I do have a slope, but I have 2 points. Which point do I pick? Well, either point will give you the same exact equation if you write it correctly. Usually, I just pick the number that's easier. So I pick the smaller number, then I will use probably negative 3, negative 7. All right, point slope form. Write the formula again. That's going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So your y is going to be negative 7 equals your m is negative 1 over 3, and your x going to be minus a negative 3, because guys, we are using the first point to write the equation. Simplify a little with too many negative signs. Y plus 7 equals negative 1 over 3 times x plus 3. That will be the first acceptable answer. Then you can write it the second one if you want to, or you are done. Now, some of you guys decide to say, hey, Ms. Wiesman, I like the other point better. Then fine. Using the same equation, you can say y minus negative 5. The number has to be on the y. Okay, equals m, same m, negative 1 over 3 times x minus a negative 8. And the equation will be y plus 5 equals negative 1/3 times x plus 8. That is also acceptable answer. So there's 2 answers for that. Example number 4. Write the equation of the line passing through the given points. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. You have to have a slope. You have to have the intercept. So in this case, don't forget your point slope form is going to be, write it out, point slope I shorthand my point point into pt. Hope that helps. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we are going to take our numbers, put it in point slope form, and change it over to slope-intercept form. First of all, so if I need point slope form, I need a slope. Since I given 2 points, I can figure out what's my slope. Slope formula, okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Plug in the number. So I'm going to do 9 minus a negative 2 over 9 minus negative 2 over 4 minus 6. And that's going to be negative negative become positive. It's going to be 11 over negative 2. That's your slope. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put it in point slope form, and just using any point, I like to stay with positive so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to use the second point. So to write it in second point, you have y minus y1. Well, y1 is going to be 4. No, I'm sorry. y1 is going to be 9 equals m, which is 4. And that's going to be x. Oh, I'm sorry. The slope is not 4. Equals negative 11 over 2 times x minus 4. That's your point slope form. Okay, so that is that. Now, it's gonna get a little messy. So let's see how we can change this into slope-intercept form. If you do put it in slope-intercept form, that's gonna be y minus 9 equals negative 11 over 2x, Miss Wiesman. Negative become positive. Positive 44 over 2. Well, 44 over 2 is just 22. So that's going to be, you can cancel out if you want to, or you can multiply 11 times 4 is 44 over 2. 44 over 2 is just 22. Plus 9 on both sides. Your equation is y equals negative 11 over 2x plus 31. And that will be your slope-intercept form. Example number 5. Write the equation of the line in point-slope form from giving y-intercept and another point. So point-slope form, point. So there's going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, now notice we don't have a slope. Now because we don't have a slope, we have to find slope first because I want it in point slope form. So I usually like to do front minus the back so I don't forget front minus back. And don't forget the y goes first. Okay, so m slope equals negative 8 minus 0 over 0 minus 3. And that's going to be negative 8 over negative 3. And my slope is 8 over 3. Then I'm going to put that in point slope form. So pick a point. The point in the back is much easier to work with. So I'm going to use 3, 0. Don't forget 3 is x. 0, 3 is x sub 1. Y sub 1 is 0. Okay, so it's going to be y minus 0 equals 8 over 3 times x minus 3. And you are done. And if you feel like you want to simplify, you can also give it to me in the equations of y equals 8 over 3 times x minus 3. That's okay too. Any question? And usually at that time, we'll even go as far as slope-intercept form. But right now, I'm asking for point-slope form. So either this one, first one, or second one is all doable. Example number 6, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form given the y-intercept and one other point. So I want slope-intercept. And don't forget that's y equals mx plus b. Okay, what's b? B is y-intercept. Okay, I'm hinting right now. So when you do that, first of all, you definitely need slope. Let's do slope formula again. So slope formula is going to be m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so in this case, you can do negative 9 minus negative 5 over 0 minus 4. And then if you do that, that's going to be negative 4 over negative 4, and that's 1. So therefore, your slope is 1. Now, here's the interesting thing. I want you guys to understand, if you have a y-intercept from x-intercept, y-intercept, if you have a y-intercept, your y has a number, your x equals 0. So in this case, now listen carefully, you actually have a y-intercept available in the points they are giving it to you. This is actually your y-intercept, because y-intercept, because x is 0. And that is very important, and you should understand that all the time. Okay? So in this case, when you write your equation, you really don't need to work out anything more, because you got slope, you have a y-intercept. So your equation is going to be y equals m. M is 1. X. What's my b? My b is negative 9, because x is 0. And there's your slope-intercept form. You got the slope, you got the y-intercept. Just put them together. There's no more work than that. Next thing we're going to talk about is parallel lines. Parallel lines happens when non-vertical parallel lines have equal slope. That is very, very, very important. And different y-intercept. Vertical lines are parallel lines. Okay? And so is horizontal lines. But that's besides the point. Write the equation of the line that passed through the given point is parallel to the given line. Now here's the very important thing. Equal slope and y-intercept is different. You got to know that. Okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to take our slope. We're going to extract the slope out. So if you look at the equation, this is slope is m, and in this case m is 3 right here. The reason I know that is because this is in y equals mx plus b. So the number in front of the x is going to be your m. And your b is y-intercept, which is negative 2. Now, the problem is they want you to write the equation, the same slope passing through point 0,3. What they really want you to do is understand, if I plot this line out, I have a b at negative 2, which is, you guys should know that by now, and graph the slope, which is 3, up 3 over right 1, up 3 over right 1, and that is the first line you're supposed to have. But the thing is, they are going to make you have another line. And the other line, the point starts at 0, 3, 1, 2, 3 right here. And they want you to have the same slope, go in the same direction, like this. And that is the equation of the line you're trying to find. You are trying to find the equation of the purple line. So to do that, you are going to find the slope. Well, the slope is going to be the same. And then what the difference is, you are shifting the red lines, same thing, onto a different location. The only difference is the point where it starts. Change the location of the line. So to do that is you're going to use the same slope and a different point. So to write it in point slope form, you are going to have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And y minus, using the purple one, 3 equals m, in this case 3 times x minus 0, because that's your x1. This is x1, this is y1. Next example, example 10, want you to do the same thing. Write the parallel lines to 3x minus 7y equal 11. That means using the slope from that line and write a different equation with the same slope, parallel lines, using a different point. So how do you extract the slope of 3x minus 7y equal 11? Well, we are going to change that into slope-intercept form. So that is going to be 3x minus 7y equals 11. And I'm going to change it into y equals mx plus b. To do that is solving lateral equation we did in chapter 2. You minus 3x on both sides. You have negative 7y equals negative 3x plus 11. And I told you guys to divide everybody by negative 7. That way you will not screw up your sign. And that's y equals 3 over 7 x, because negative and negative become positive, minus 11 over 7. And once you do that, you got the slope. And I would like you to write it down. Your slope, in this case that you need, is 3 over 7. That way you have it right in front of you. Then you have the 1 and negative 1. And to write the equation for the slope that's parallel to 3x minus 7y is 3/7. But using a different point to create that line that's parallel, you are going to use 1 and negative 1. So equation for this new line that you're going to write is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And so that will be y minus negative 1 equals m, which is 3 over 7 times x minus 1. And that will be simplified. Y plus 1 equals 3 over 7 times x minus 1. And that will be your new equation. That line is going to be parallel to 3x minus 7y equals 11. And that the point they're going to go through is 1 and negative 1. Next rule is perpendicular lines. The slope of a line perpendicular to a line with a slope of a over b will be negative over b. That's negative reciprocal, or opposite. I'm sorry, opposite reciprocal right here. It had to be opposite and reciprocal. That's very, very important. Okay, so in this case, when you talking about the slope, once you extract the slope, make sure you change it into opposite and flip it. Okay, so now write the equation of the line passing through the given point and is perpendicular to the given line. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to extract my slope first. And we want to put them in point slope form. Very simple. Got a point, got a slope, write the equation. That's it. So you are going to extract the slope. Slope in this case from our equation is going to be 1 over 5. And I would like you to remember your symbol from geometry. Perpendicular means this is perpendicular. Slope is going to be opposite. Since it's a positive 1 over 5, it's going to make it negative. And then you're going to flip it. Since it's 1 over 5, when you flip it, it's 5 over 1. So I'm going to really write it just negative 5. Okay, and then write the equation. And the equation is again point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So you are going to do y minus 10 equals m negative 5 times x minus 3. And done. That's all. Okay, making sure you flip your slope over, and if it's positive, make it negative, negative become positive, so therefore it's opposite, using the new point they are giving to you. And you will find this line is making 90-degree angles with the first line that's given. We are going to do is with a little different form. Write the equation of the line that passed through the given point and is perpendicular to the given line. Now, this way, the slope, this equation, example 12, the equation they give you does not have slope by itself. So we need to move around. So again, the best way to get the slope out of the equation they give you is y equals mx plus b. Slope, intercept form. Slope, there is the word, slope. Okay, so let's move them around. So you have negative 6 equals negative 7x minus y. Now remember, y equals mx plus b is the form we're trying to get to. So in this case, I want the y to be positive, or I will just move the 7x, positive 7x, because it cancels out with the negative 7x. Then I can get my y by itself. And that's going to be negative y equals 7x minus 6. Now what we're going to do is we had to divide by the negative 1 all the way across. And I'm going to rewrite it like the proper form. And to do that, it's going to be y equals negative 7x. Negative on 6 is going to be positive 6. Here's my slope. My slope in this case will be negative 7. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use negative 7 and the new point to write our equation using point slope form. And point slope form in this case is going to be, again, keep writing it. If you keep writing it, you will not forget. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And your y stayed the same. y1 in this case is negative 8 equals the slope is negative 7 times x minus 3. And then you're done. Simplify. Y plus 8 equals negative 7 times x minus 3. and you're done. Next few example is pretty much just based on, can you tell me the slope is the same, opposite, reciprocal, or none? So extract the slope from number 13. M is going to be, from the first equation, 2 over 3. And then the second equation, M, is going to be negative 3 over 2. Are they opposite? Are they reciprocal? Yes. Therefore, they are perpendicular. Example number 14, you have to extract the slope, which is we've done it over and over a couple times on the above equation. So you should know that you need to move them around by switching the order. So here it is. Minus 2x on both sides, minus 2x on both sides. You have 4y equals negative 2x plus 7. And divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 7 over 4. Okay, I want you guys to try the next one and see, do you get the same answer, and what do you get as a conclusion between those two lines. Okay, here are the answer for number 14. The slope of the first equation is negative 1 over 2. The slope of the second equation is negative 1 over 2. Because the slope are the same, the lines are parallel. Try example 15 and see, can you come up with the answer. Example 15, slope is 2 for one line, slope is equal to negative 2 for the other line. Therefore, it's neither. Can you tell me why? The reason for that is because even though they are opposite, they are not reciprocal. Hope you get the same idea as I do. Next one is a little bit trickier. So let's take a look. Remember from previous section, we talked about if you have the location of either your x coordinates or y coordinates the same, that is the equation. So in this case, if you noticed, your 5 are the same. So your equation really for that is y equals 5. Now, if you have y equals 5 and y equals 4, now think about how you draw those lines. Crossing y-axis at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crossing y-axis at 5. This is x and that's y. And the other one is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you think the lines are, everybody? They are parallel. Next one is also a very simple concept. Write equation of the line. Leave your answer in point slope form. Ms. Wiesman, how do you do that? Pick a point, any point. That's first thing. Can you give me a point based on the graph? Well, any point. Well, I'm going to pick the one that's right here, or right there, or right there. Pick one. I don't care. So in this case, I'm going to do, maybe 0, negative 2. Now, how do I get to my slope, my m? Well, we are going to count. It's rise over run, or you can notice I dotted where the points crossing the corner. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to go from one point to the other. So if I'm going from here, remember it's rise over run. So that's why I pick it on the bottom. Rise is up 2. Run is going to be to the left. That means it's going to be negative. Left 3. So my slope is up to rise over run. There. Okay, write it in an equation. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus a negative 2 equals m negative 2 over 3 times x minus 0. And to simplify this, it's just y plus 2 equals negative 2 over 3 times x minus 0. And one last thing, how to graph a point-slope equation. To graph a point-slope equation, there is the procedure. 1. Identify the point from the equation. 2. Identify the slope from the equation. 3. Graph the point first, then find the next point using the slope as direction. So again, slope is rise over run. Okay, so you should be able to find the slope. Very simple. Slope is negative 2 right here. That's slope. Now remember we talked about before, you have this part right here is x1. Wait a minute, Ms. Wiesman, why didn't you circle the negative sign? Well, because if it's negative, you lost your sign for the equation. So if you want to think about it, it's going to be the negative sign. So that's going to be your y. And then how do you change this positive 1? Well, positive 1 is really made of negative, a negative 1, because you got to have that negative. Or if you want to think about it, just change the sign. So your point is really just going to be, since it's x plus 1, opposite that, it's going to be negative 1. X has to go first. And y, since that's negative 3, it's going to be positive 3. Change the sign. And that is all you have to graph your line. So first point is at negative 1, 3. So I'm going to go negative 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3 up here. Negative 1, 3. Then what we're going to do is we are going to use slope. And slope is down 2, because that's going to be negative 2 over 1, positive 1. So it's going to down 2 over to the right 1, down 2 over the right 1. And there is your line. That's it. Okay, now you guys try the next one and see do you get the same answer. Here's the answer for example 20. Slope is 1 over 3. Your point is negative 2 from here. That become negative. And from here, that become negative also. Okay? And the line look like in the bottom. And that concludes section 4.5, point slope form.